Hey, Teros here. Watu wa Mlima. We need to go behind the tent and talk a bit. Recently, I found myself watching a lot of these vernacular stations. I know you know the two most popular stations, especially in the central region, the Mlima region. And one thing that caught my attention is almost 90% of the paid up, either 80% of the paid up adverts are all to do with land sale. 50 by 50 Kamuru, 100 by 100, I don't know where, Ukambani, all the way up to Malindi, everywhere. There are 50 by 50, 100 by 100 kind of plots being sold and marketed by the various land buying companies. Now, there is nothing wrong about it, and I'm not trying to bash anyone who is in that particular industry, because I can tell you right now they're making a kill, which is good, and people are doing proper investments. But what caught my attention is, and especially from my knowledge in terms of application of capital, is that you have these 50 by 100 going for 500,000, 100 by 100, let's say 1 million bob, and you are like, who is buying all this land? And for sure, for these adverts to be there must be an audience. It's basically the way we were brought up, and especially in terms of being told how important land and property is, and ownership of that particular property is extremely critical in terms of defining you, and especially for men. Lazima ukuwe na kaploti pahali where you have earmarked to, let's say, build for your family and settle. But my big question is in terms of capital, the kind of capital that we are locking down. Because if you look at these 50 by 100 or 100 by 100 plots, one, they've been sold in very remote areas. So it's an area that will need maybe another 5-10 years for it to appreciate, or for proper returns, especially if you're doing it for a speculation basis. If you want to build, maybe that's a project that you'll be involved in for the next maybe 2-3 years. So first you have to buy the land, you have to look for capital to buy, to build, and do all that pertains for you to be able now to get into this particular dwelling and call it home. So usually, typically, that would take you maybe 10 years. Let's say you're buying it via credit, so you have to pay, it's, let's say, a mortgage, or maybe it's profits from a business that you're trying now to put aside. So all that is good. But the big issue I'm having is that having 80% of the ads being on a kaploti somewhere, it tells me majority of you, your investment, or what you call investment, is land. But unfortunately, this is money that is going to be locked in for maybe the next 5-10 years. So what that means is that during this particular period of time, you do not have any capital to either invest in yourself. Maybe you need an extra certificate, degree, or exposure, or you need to attend conferences that build you or build your value in the ecosystem. It also means that you do not have capital for maybe other alternate investment channels, like now the money market, or the bonds, or the treasury bills, and all the way to, you don't have even capital to be able to sustain your small mama mboga, or let's say boda kind of biashara, because every small thing that you're earning is either going to pay up that particular loan for that plot, or is going to develop a house in that particular plot. You're frozen. So what tells you is between 5 to 10 years, there's nothing else you'll do apart from paying for that plot or paying for that particular building. And for me, it's capital that is tied down just for sentimental values. And this is debatable. This is a conversation I'd like to have with especially the financial analysts on this particular platform. But for a whole region to spend almost 80% of their commercial advertising space on selling small parcels of land that have no economic value other than sentimental value, I see a problem. And I see a lot of businesses collapsing, people having no ability to be able to sustain their operations because all their money is tied up in this particular piece of land. And I know land ownership, house ownership is extremely important. There is a lot of traditional or societal demands for it. But if you look at it from a mathematical point of view or from a financial investment point of view, there is something that is not adding up. And I'm not saying that those who are investing are doing a wrong thing, especially if you're investing from your surplus. That's okay, any day. That's why we work hard. That's why we wake up to do whatever we need to do. But if you're taking loans, you're going into your small savings to try and acquire these particular pieces of land that are in the middle of nowhere, then there is a problem. But also in the mix there is also good properties that are in very arable areas and all that. But again, we are also converting a lot of our agricultural land to concrete jungles. So you can see, like right now, I'm at Tea Crest. This is a tea growing region with a lot of dairy farming as well. Typically, for you to be able to make an income, or an income that can sustain, let's say, a simple family, a wife, mother, maybe 2, 3, 4 kids, you need maybe an average of 1 acre or 2 acres where you have your tea, you have your dairy, you have your cattle and all that. So this is land that produces. This is land that gives you something at the end of it all. And it goes into your cash flows in terms of being able to support what you're doing, paying school fees or blah, blah, blah. But when you buy a 50 by 100 in the middle of nowhere and wait for it to appreciate after 10 years, let's have a conversation. There is something that is not sitting well with me in terms of that particular percentage, because having 80% of the commercial advertisement airplay on TVs and radios talking about either land sale, gambling. There is a lot of gambling that is being marketed everywhere. Then the rest of the percentage is politics. So guys, tujiite kamkutano pahali. There is something that is not adding up, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Cheers. Thank you. Tyrus here.